Parents, do you have a child who fails to read at age-appropriate level? In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you why tutoring, practicing, and drilling is not the way to go, and what most parents with this problem should be doing instead. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Alex Vujnovic. I'm your trusted neuro-based chiropractor and your local leader in brain development and owner and founder of Power Within Chiropractic. And we have helped over 100 families get their child's life back on track using our Brain Blossom program and specific brain-based strategies. In this video, I'm gonna show you why tutoring, practicing, and drilling is not the way to go and what most parents with this problem should do instead. Here's why reading can be so hard. If you're trying to teach your kid to read or get your kid to just read and they give you a ton of pushback, or have you ever had a moment where you're reading something and you get to the bottom of the page or a paragraph and you stop and you go, what did I just read? You didn't retain any of it? Here's the thing. Reading is a very high demand skill that requires us to use our highest, most sophisticated tool of processing. As we grow, we acquire different tools of processing, but the highest, most sophisticated tool is our visual cognition. Visual cognition is very complex in the way we use our eyeballs to bring info into the brain. It's also the way the brain is processing that info and creates imagery in our prefrontal cortex. Complex symbols, visual motor processing skills, processing in our brain to create pictures, this is reading and retention. If you have a child who's struggling to learn to read or doesn't want to read, or you notice yourself that you're struggling to read, there may be a challenge that you need to uncover. 1, there may be stress in the autonomic nervous system that impacts the way the brain is receiving, processing, and sending out info. Or simply put, it's impacting the way the brain is able to function. 2, we may have a visual motor issue in ability to track words on the page to help send that info to the brain. 3, we may not be there yet in our ability to use our visual cognition. We cannot make pictures in our brain. In most cases, this is where an individual decides, I don't like to read and I'm going to avoid this activity, and they just won't do it. Letters and numbers, they are super abstract and they can pose challenges for our kids to learn, recognize, and to visualize them in their brain. So here's a quick activity you can do with your kids. First, identify if they're having a challenge with a letter recognition. We find that a lot of kids get their certain letters mixed or might even find out that they are writing their letters backwards. So let's help them have a better relationship and understanding of what a letter or a number looks like. First, identify what letter or number they're having problems with. Tactile activity, fine motor movement based activity to help them develop this relationship. Let's say they are having an issue with the letter T. Have them use their cereal at breakfast to make a letter T. Have them play with Play-Doh and make letter T. In the backyard, while they're playing with sticks, have them create bunch of T's, or any letter they might be having a challenge with. This will allow them to start having visual processing to know letters inside and out, and that is our first step. We want to make sure we are creating a great foundation of processing to be able to build on to that when we start putting letters, numbers together, or even sentences and chapter books like reading. These are things we work on in our office all the time. It's not just helping kids specifically be able to read. It's much more than that when we start to look at how the brain develops, what tools do we have for processing, and where we might be having some inefficiencies or even gaps in development that are creating the challenges when we are trying to use our highest tools, visual cognition. Parents, if everything I talked about in this video sounds like a situation you need help with, what if over the next several weeks you have your child's behavioral blueprint so that you can understand the root cause that is leading to your child's challenges and receive tools that will melt the behaviors away as we work on restoring input and improving your child's processing efficiency without having to start multiple therapies at the same time, which may or may not create lasting cognitive changes. Let's work on neurological set point first and let the clinical finding guide us on when and who is appropriate to add to the team. If you'd like to learn why chiropractic care is the foundational piece for my private clients whose kids are having challenges in the realm of learning, click the link below, schedule a 15-minute call, and you and I will go over your child's behavioral blueprint so that you know if we're the right fit for you and your next step.